This is Tao Trader. Welcome to my weekly outlook for the week going forwards. I understand some people might not be able to understand me properly because of my accent from the north of England, but anyway, let's start. So what I like to do, I like to start out by looking at the Dixie. You know, everything that I trade centres around the US dollar, so it's good to know where the dollar is heading, so I know where my pairs are going to be heading that week also. So I'll start on the monthly chart. Don't really need to look much further than zoomed right in. So straight away I can see this support level down here is being wicked into, straight into this area. So we had a nice movement to the upside from once it entered the imbalance. So let's move down to the weekly, see what's really happening. So at the minute we've broken structure to the upside, but we haven't yet broken above this high. Into the zone above that, which, depending on how you pick your imbalances, I would have it like this. So we haven't yet reached that. So right now I would just say that we are on the higher time frame. We're just sort of sideways movement. On the daily, it's not really giving us much away, to be honest. So we've just broken through these highs, taken liquidity, and we have touched into this zone. See? So now I would likely say that we are probably going to head down here. Because you can see the pattern that I always talk about. Or one of the patterns that I always talk about is it's happened right now. See, it's gone. So I'm expecting the dollar to be going down over the next week. So now we can move on to the actual pairs that I trade. So let's start on the Euro US dollar on the daily chart. So what I want to look for is key areas that we may have broken. So this has been broken, this high here. This area not yet broken, and it's got a nice daily imbalance above that. Daily imbalances, I wouldn't worry about them too much, because we could get into this candle here where the imbalance starts and realise that there actually is no imbalance on the lower time frames. So I wouldn't worry too hard. It's just a point of interest for me to look into as we go down in the time frames. So now we can see that we haven't yet reach that area, which I'm assuming that we could potentially reach. So let's head down to the 4 hour. So now we see that we're forming a nice support around here. It looks like the move has happened, but I would say that it hasn't dipped in properly yet. Yeah, it hasn't touched into the imbalance yet. So move down again. Now we can see which direction we're going to go. If you look at this, so you see what I always talk about. This area was touched into, and then reversed out of that price, which would make me assume that we're going to head lower for the week going forwards. Obviously I will react as the week starts, but I mean, look, we've made a lovely a lovely area here with an imbalance below that also. So maybe very short term, Monday, Tuesday, could be a move to the upside from into this zone, you know, in, and then some kind of buy coming in. So that might be what I'm looking for with Euro USD tomorrow, but obviously I will just react to whatever happens on the chart at the time. Gold on the daily chart. So exact same process again, over and over again. Obviously this is just the technical side of how I am looking at these charts. There's a lot more involved that goes on when I'm actually placing the trade, but it's too much to sort of handle at the minute, so I'll just teach you the technicals because that's what everyone wants at first. So we've dipped into that level up there. We've got this level here, but that happened during news, so I would be more inclined to kind of use this kind of level, because that large wick was just due to news and obviously clearing liquidity of the previous all-time highs. So ignoring that, we've just cleared on the 4 hour, I think it's clear. Yeah, so we have, no, we haven't cleared that yet. So now let's have a look at what this cleared. So it looks to me from just looking at this that it's gonna head down, just because at first this wick here cleared any buy side liquidity. So then anyone getting into sells, placing stops up here, has been wicked by this. So yeah, going forwards, I'd say that we could be going down here. There's not really anything being made yet, you know. I don't like that. That's too far away. I prefer my double bottoms to be near enough horizontal to sort of count as liquidity. So right now I think gold, we're going to have to wait. So usually I don't actually live trade on a Monday. I will use Monday to set my true bias for the week. This is just looking at the chart and seeing what I may think is going to happen, but you know, gold isn't really giving me much at the minute. Not in the way of, I mean, maybe that doesn't look too bad, but the pattern isn't exactly there. But we could see something along these lines, a dip into this imbalance, but I would have liked to have seen like more of this kind of move. But you know, it doesn't always work that way. It could always, where it's consolidating now over here, you know, it could consolidate and then make this move and then fly away. So yeah, that's probably the most likely thing that I will be looking for. But I'll wait to see what happens on gold. I'm not going to make any predictions just yet. So now we'll move on to the SP 500. Had some amazing trades on this last week. Well, one amazing trade on this last week, sorry. Which was actually in the Telegram chat right near the beginning of, before it started getting really busy. If you scroll back, you know, I'll run you through the setup for it, and then I'll see if we can find any more setups, because we might see it run down a bit here. The only thing is, if it looks like the Dixie is going to go down also, then maybe we could go up. We'll see. Anyway, I'll show you the trade that was taken last time, because it was a higher time frame trade, but with lower time frame entry and lower time frame profit taken. So this was my area of liquidity that I had signed on the chart. Last week. This is what I was waiting for. So price was hitting that liquidity, and I was waiting for it to dip into my box Now on the 4 hour it doesn't look so great because obviously the move away wasn't amazing, but you will see as we go down, because it was on a 5-minute chart that I actually entered. So when we were, let me just go back to where it starts. Yeah, so when last week we were around this area, and I was saying to the chat that I was expecting a move like a W from here, you know, on the 5-minute chart. I was expecting a move from this area around here, and I said to everybody in the chat that I was expecting something along the lines of and that was when price was around here. I said that this is what I was looking for. So if you look back in the chat, you will see me call that live. Anyway, so when price moved down into my area, this final dip here, I got in with a buy and I put this in the group. I think I got a 2.5. I'll have to have a look at my MT4. I set my targets just past, just into this. So my target was this small imbalance here. Because like I say, I'd rather it was safe. It was a 2-to-1, which is amazing, you know, 2-to-1. I risk between 0.25% of my account, or trades like this, I will maybe risk 0.5, maybe 1% per trade, never more than 1%, because, you know, it sounds like not very much, but it only takes a few bad days to really realise that you've lost a lot when you're trading with a bigger account. So yeah, I don't really ever trade above 1%. But yeah, that was my trade last week that was in the chat. What I'm seeing right now for the week going forwards is a level here, an imbalance down here in the zone again, but I'm also seeing in the resistance area, beautiful double top there with an imbalance here. So basically next week what I will be looking for is either this or this. One of them two kind of ideas, but like I say, Mondays are what we use to see the direction, see which way we're going to be trading. Every time I trade on a Monday, I regret it. It's usually a losing trade, because I think the manipulation for the week is set up on the Monday, and then the other direction starts on the Tuesday. That's what seems to happen anyway, so I tend to stay out of trading on a Monday and a Friday if I can help it, but this S&P trade on Friday was just perfect, so I had to take it. Right, finally the Nasdaq. So this is already charted up from earlier on when I was having a mess about on the charts, but as we can see, we've got a lot of liquidity, so we've just broken the structure here and we've taken liquidity. That would have been a good trade to get into, but I missed it, and it wouldn't have been I mean, unless it breaks structure up here as well, it might not have been a great trade, but it's still going to be caught as a good trade if you sort of. But the thing is that the candle didn't close till here. You'd have to go to a smaller time frame to see if you would have. Yeah, so I mean, I would if I was watching the chart here, because I missed this trade, I would have probably placed my trade like this, and that would be perfect because it would line up with just under the previous high, which we basically almost know will definitely at least get touched against, or it'll go straight through it. but then directly above it there's a lovely little imbalance. So, you know, I probably would try and hold the trade until this was cleared. So if that was the case, you'd be looking at a nice 2.3R. So that's probably what I'll be looking for to get into something next week, unless that doesn't happen at all, and then we have something along the lines of and the only thing that makes me say this is because we've got this red level here. There's a lovely resistance that's been put in, so we may touch that one more time, or we may go straight through it, but then just sitting up here is this lovely 5-minute imbalance. So we could, you know, and because we've set the tone with this breakdown below and the raid here, people are now thinking that it's good for buys, so they'll probably begin to buy around here, you know, using Fibonacci or whatever. Sorry, they'll probably begin to sell around this area using the Fibonacci retracement or whatever, and obviously they will put all of their stops where this red line is on the previous high. So this move that I'm thinking is probably more likely because there's probably a lot of people selling right now on the lower time frame. So yeah, I hope this was helpful, and yeah, put any questions that you have into the Telegram, and don't worry, the Discord is getting built as we speak, so I've got people on it and I'm doing some work on it myself, so that should be live soon, and then that's going to open up a whole new world of learning for us. You know, we can talk in different chat rooms, different levels of abilities, and yeah, we'll really get it popping. So let's see what happens tomorrow and see if any of these ideas become real. See you later.